Coming up next.
As Mark Cuban once said, it's always the littlest decisions that have the biggest impact.
You underestimate how the smallest decision can compound to significant differences over a lifetime.
And I saw 3 sneaky moves that, in my opinion, are going to change the entire landscape of the NBA, as far as these are just small, cheap pickups a lot of y'all don't see coming. And these are those signings and trades that don't break the internet, but come April, they make playoff noise. I got 3 of them, I think, that were under the radar.
All right, go ahead and show the clip.
So let me start with the first one. This one was the biggest one, in my opinion. Shout out to Boston. Luka Garza is a dog, and I don't know why he's never been used more. I am so mad at Golden State for not signing him. I think this will be a huge payoff in 2 years when you get everybody healthy, but he gets a chance to shine this year. I look at a Luka, the National College Player of the Year in 2021, and I see something between a Jokic and an Enes Kanter, Celtics fan, remember. If they had a baby.
But if we had a baby...
That's kind of the style and the scoring threat that he possesses to me. His stats in the NBA are not impressive. I'll give you that. 3.5 points, 1.4 rebounds, and just 7.4 minutes per game. But look, when he's been given opportunity in the G League, 27.8 points and 8.8 rebounds, 56% shooting, almost 37% from threes in just 24 minutes per game. The reason I think he's a steal, he's got elite touch and shooting for a big. He shot, again, 56% from the field, 37% from three in the G League. He's a legitimate stretch 5. He uses his frame. He's smart, great footwork, knows how to use the angles. He's also an unbelievable rebounder. Despite limited minutes, he averaged almost 9 boards per game in the G League. He knows how to fight for his position. He's got that dog in him. He boxes out. He's got a high IQ. He's an efficient scorer in short burst. I mean, to average 27.8 in just 24 minutes, even in the G League, shows that this dude can absolutely get it done down low. I think he is going to be one of the biggest steals 2 years from now. People are going to go, how much did it cost? Excuse me, only $5.5 million guaranteed over the next 2 years? That is just absolutely crazy. I think that is just not a backup center for you. I think could eventually be a starter or at least 6-man center who won't screw up the offense, who's skilled, has a high IQ. It's a nice depth piece, and for less than $6 million, you guys really stole him. And damn it, Golden State, I have no idea why you didn't go after Luka Garza. I've been screaming for years. Go get Luka Garza. The second sleeper, and this goes back to, like I said, Detroit, along with Atlanta, getting smart about, hey, the big dogs are down, the kings of the jungle are hurt, it's time for us to pick at the carcass. Picking up Duncan Robinson, along with all the other moves you've made, and the meteoric rise Detroit has been very intelligent, in my opinion. Duncan Robinson to the Detroit Pistons will be a big move.
I'm kind of a big deal.
When you lock in a star point guard like Cunningham with that extension, spacers and shooters are always valuable. They were 6th in the East. They've now won 30 more games than the year prior. They needed shooting, but they also needed winning experience, and you got both in a 3-year, $48 million sign-and trade with Duncan Robinson. Again, numbers don't jump off the paper, but 11 points per game is nice, but at 39.5% from threes, 37 starts last year. He shoots 40% on over 7 attempts from 3 per game and has the Miami Heat franchise record, 1,202 three-pointers. That is the most in Miami Heat's history. He is one of the best volume shooters from 3 in the entire league. Multiple times over his career has made over 200 threes, and he just is a sniper, a sharpshooter, but he's also a proven role player. He's got finals experience. He's trusted. He's battle-tested, and he's under the radar as a playmaker. I know looking at him, and when he came in out of college, he really was just truly a spot-up shooter. But if you watch him now, as he averaged last year a career-high 2.4 assists per game, he knows how to put the ball on the floor better than you give him credit for. He knows how to make reads. I think he's unbelievable off the ball as a cutter and somebody who's able to find the space and keep moving and keep other defenders busy. I think he's got a nice floater. I think he's got great instinct. But the Pistons didn't just need shooters. They needed pros. You got the floor spacing to help with Cunningham and Ivy when they go to the basket, but he gives structure to a young team that needed some playoff experience, and for just $16 million a year in a rising salary cap, I thought that was, again, a hell of a move. The third one, this one people have talked about, but I don't think you've talked about enough, and I want to highlight it specifically for a couple reasons. Cameron Johnson going to the Denver Nuggets was not just big, in my opinion, for both teams, because I think they both needed a change of scenery. But I finally had this confirmed, a theory I've had for a long time, that when Michael Porter Jr. was in Denver, he was looked off by Jamal Murray, meaning that I saw multiple times, and as a former shooter, I know what this looks like. When your point guard sees you open and just decides not to give you the ball,
I'm not giving you shit.
That happened going back to the beginning when Michael Porter Jr. showed up. And I used to scream and argue with Nuggets fans on Facebook, and I finally got it confirmed. I met someone who knows him personally, and at least from what I've heard, allegedly, he feels very similar to this idea that, yeah, there's just some chemistry issue here, and they don't like giving him the ball. So bringing in a new guy who does a lot of the same things that Michael Porter Jr. does, but is also cheaper and better on defense, is not just brilliant. In my opinion, that pushes them to the second seed in the Western Conference, not the damn Houston Rockets. But you look at, again, the trade for Michael Porter Jr. and just one first-round pick all the way in 2032. Cam Johnson, 12.4 points per game, but most importantly, 39% from threes last year, and also 85% from the free throw line. And you saved $17 million. That allowed Denver to go under the mid-level exception. So they didn't just add Cam Johnson, who I think is at least equal to Michael Porter Jr. for what the Nuggets need. It allowed them to add as well Bruce Brown, Valanciunas, and Hardaway Jr. That now gives them a bench that they didn't have before. He is an elite catch-and-shoot threat that is only maybe rivaled by like Duncan Robinson's and Klay Thompson's of the world. 40% from deep last year. Even better percentage-wise on his catch and shoots. Jokic is going to have a field day throwing outlets out there to him. He's also a better playmaker than Michael Porter Jr. ever was. 3.4 assists to Michael's 1.2 assists per game. He knows how to create short rolls. He knows how to make skip passes. He's just smart, high IQ. He's clearly more involved and into the defensive side of the ball, more disciplined than MPJ defensively. And on offense, he does things besides just stand around and sometimes force shots, which was, I think, a lot of the reason for some of the problems between Murray and Porter. But he makes switches, he cuts, he knows how to move, he's young, he's active. This is a fit over flash move. He's a better two-way balance as well. But the cap flexibility that he brought and the skill set, which is going to amplify Jokic, I thought was huge. But really, just by saving $17 million and unlocking the MLE, which allowed them to add Brown, Valanciunas, Hardaway Jr. alongside him, that is what's going to make them a true contender next year. And I just hope, for his sake, get along with Jamal Murray.
Will you be my friend?
Because clearly there was a problem between Michael Porter Jr. and Murray on the court. I saw it for years. I used to argue this, and now from people I know that know him have said something close to along the lines of, yeah, dude, he felt the same way, that this guy, whether it was jealousy, whether it was fear of losing that secondary scorer spot, Jamal Murray clearly had an issue with Michael Porter Jr., and it was so obvious to see, and now we'll see what happens with the addition of Cam Johnson. So again, Cam Johnson, Duncan Robinson to the Pistons, and Luka Garza to the Celtics. I thought those are going to be three sleeper moves. Try to remember those. We'll see if I'm right later. I think I will be. I'm usually right a lot more than you give credit for.
Man, I'm tired of being right.